This is a 2007 Honda CR V all-wheel drive, 2.4 in it. Has a problem when you first apply the brake pedal. It goes 2/3 the way of the floor, sometimes more or less. And then when you reapply, it's got a full pedal. So I think the master cylinder is bad. It's bypassing inside. I pulled all 4 wheels off and checked the calipers for being stuck and the brake pads being stuck in the sliders, and it was okay. So I bled all 4 wheels, starting with the driver's side front, the passenger side front, the passenger side rear, and then the driver's side rear, and still had a spongy pedal. So the next logical solution was the master cylinder, because this isn't one of them that has the ABS problem. I don't think the ABS units on this one is one of them that sucks the air in around it. There wasn't a recall on it anyway. I didn't get any air out of the wheels, but some of them you get air out of the calipers, and a lot of times the ABS unit has a problem and there's a recall on some of them for it. And other times, if the back cup and the master cylinder is bypassing, it can suck air in and push it on down the line and cause a spongy pedal. But it's got a lot of miles on it. I'm just comparing the replacement master cylinder with the original one. This has a sub-reservoir and then a primary reservoir. It'll have to be removed first. I'm going to go ahead and undo this air cleaner just to get some space in there. I went ahead and undid these 5 clamps to take the top of the air cleaner off. Just laid them aside. Watch your mass airflow sensor wire. Stuff some rags down directly underneath of these lines in the master cylinder. Brake fluid will destroy painted surfaces. Be sure to cover any aspects of the paint that the master cylinder will follow coming out, right down the nose of it. Just one drip and you don't see it, and you'll have a paint job problem, ruin the paint job. I'm going to break this 10mm loose on this pre-reservoir, and the 2 on this metal bracket supporting it. I'm going to loosen them up to the point they're almost out. And then take a 12mm line wrench. Probably get by with an open end wrench. Just be careful about stripping it. Break these lines loose. Get them about half turned out, and then there's 2 12mm holding the master cylinder to the brake booster. 12mm nut there, and another one diagonal up, 12mm. All 3 of these 10mm are loose. This back one has a slot in it, and then the front one just has a eye hole. It'll have to be removed. I'm going to take a 12mm and crack these lines loose while it's still being fastened down. Okay, both the master cylinder nuts are loose. I'll go ahead and take this other 10mm bolt out of this bracket. It went pretty easy. Get a 12mm with a couple long extensions. Now we're starting to drip a little brake fluid on these rags I got down here. Make sure they're just getting soaked into those and not anything else. And that one's broke loose. I'll break this one loose. Be advised, there is a brake fluid level switch to unplug when this gets loose. top of the back of the reservoir there. It has a clip in the center on the bottom. Just squeeze in the back of it and lift the hook up off of the plug-in. And voila, that needs cleaned out. And dirt wiped off from around it. It's got bubble flare ends on brake lines. And there's the jewel right there. Now the rubber seal is missing. Pick that rubber seal out, wipe the old grease and dirt out from around it. And the rib side faces the master cylinder. This one came with a new seal, so you just got to make sure you take the old seal off so you don't double them up and have a problem. I'm going to drain all the old brake fluid out of this. Just take this cap off and turn it upside down in a drain. Let it drain a little bit. Just check and make sure these shafts are sticking out the same length. If they're not, you'll have to adjust the brake rod. When you take this cap off, there's a strainer in there. You want to pick it out before you let any fluid out of it. And be advised, the clamp position faces up on this secondary reservoir and down on the primary reservoir. I just took this one loose on the secondary reservoir. It's actually attached to the master cylinder. I will let you know this hose is a little bit of a toughie. It's what they made the long needle nose for. Get them needle nose in there and pull on the hose, not the reservoir, just in case this nipple breaks off. Like that. Clean that opening off real good. Check this master cylinder reservoir for any debris, dirt. That's nice. Yeah, this is a screen. You gotta watch it falling out. Strainer. Hey, got some crud underneath of it. Get a lint-free cloth and wipe that out. Looks good down in there, I guess. Looks good enough. I'll drop the strainer back down in there. Now to mount this back on this so you can bleed this master cylinder. I'm going to go ahead and stick this cap back on it while I'm doing that. It's clean. The old reservoir should be sitting level with the new one. Just slide the clamp so it's at 12 o'clock position back into place. Metal raised up area that this seal sets against, and when you're pulling on it, be sure not to get a hold of the metal. Get in between the metal and the rubber seal. This is the way it come out of there, with the open part of the cup facing the master cylinder and the turned down part facing the booster. And that's the way it'll go back in there, the new one. This seal's going to get a fresh coating of silicone based grease on both sides of it, just a thin scraping on it. Went ahead and stuck the new seal in there with the coating of grease on both sides of it.